But I want to begin today's show with a very special segment. It's one that's been in the works for a little while here at New Jersey Today. If you check out our website at WCTCAM.com, you saw a special section that we had posted for a little while that we called WCTC and St. Peter's University Hospital presenting the Music for Motivation program. And we were inviting folks to sort of tell us their stories and hear about how music helped provide hope and motivation through your experience with breast cancer, whether it was you, whether it was a family member, a friend. We know it can be a pretty tough time for all folks involved. So let me welcome in my special guest who is going to be with us here to open up the show. She's Dr. Susan McManus, who is the director of the St. Peter's Breast Center, and she's here to talk about the Music for Motivation program. Dr. McManus, welcome. Good to see you here on the show today.
Good afternoon, Bert. It's a pleasure to be here.
We've been trying to plan this for a while, so I'm glad that we were finally able to get everything synced up and get you on the show today. So
the storm did interrupt our scheduled appointment, but I do want to say again that the station and all the stations here really were a help to me and to all my coworkers. So I thank you.
Well, thank you, and thank you to everyone at St. Peter's for kind of keeping it together, too, in a tough time as well for a lot of folks. So we appreciate your contributions to the community, too. Dr. McManus, before we talk specifically about the Music for Motivation program, which seems like it's such a powerful thing and really helps some folks through some tough times, talk about the Breast Center at St. Peter's.
The Breast Center at St. Peter's is an accredited breast center by the Commission on Cancer of the American College of Surgeons, and we are a full-service breast center. We treat both benign breast disease and breast cancer, and we have an integrated group of physicians and other healthcare providers that navigate patients through the whole ordeal / journey / experience.
Excellent. And specifically the program, the Music for Motivation program, was that your idea or your colleagues at St. Peter's?
Well, I think it was my idea.
Okay.
I think. I'm sure other people have had the idea, but it's been my love, music. And I know in my life, through tough times, I've always had a song or a composer that I love to listen to. And I realized that my patients were very often telling me that same thing, that music or turning on the radio and just listening to the radio per se or a special song was what got them through every day of going through radiation treatment or the day they had to go to chemotherapy, or actually the first horrible day that they heard that they had breast cancer.
Yeah, it can be, I'm guessing for a lot of people, it can be sort of a comforting thing. You know, you have that song that maybe you remember, when you were younger or whatever. It sort of highlighted a special time in your life. And when you moved into this phase of your life where you're dealing with some real tough adversity, it's nice to know because you kind of, like I said, it kind of gives you that little comfort zone sort of thing and gives you some hope, gives you some inspiration.
I think that the experience of going through breast cancer treatment is scary and it's draining and it's tedious, but I think that women find joy also in the fact that they get to the end of the treatment and they become survivors and they have hope and joy through that. And I think they remember the music that took them there.
It's one of those things that can be a tool in your battle against cancer and help you in the recovery. It's an important thing.
Absolutely. I think there are most of the patients will write down the songs that are on this station, but we do have a few patients that write down Beethoven and Mozart as well.
Hey, for some people, that's comfort to them. That's life. That's living. That's an important thing for them. 1:12 on New Jersey Today on the New Talk Radio WCTC. We're joined in studio by Dr. Susan McManus, the director of the St. Peter's Breast Center. We're talking about the Music for Motivation program. And if you go to our website, WCTCAM.com, you can see all the details about how the program works. A couple of the submissions are on there as well. And if you'd like to share your story with us, you can do it online at WCTCAM.com. There's also a Twitter feed on there. You can share some Facebook comments as well, all contained at WCTCAM.com. Just click on the Music for Motivation link, and you can go ahead and see some of the submissions that folks had put up there. A couple of very good ones, Dr. McManus, that were up here. Bonnie from Dayton had sent in a story. And the song she chose, no surprise for somebody from Jersey, Bon Jovi's It's My Life.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm not surprised that Bon Jovi is on the top of the list, as well as Bruce.
Sure.
But we certainly saw a lot of submissions from U2 and Lady Gaga and Beyonce. So there's a wonderful. But what story was it that she alluded to?
Yeah, let me see. I'll click on the link here, and she shares her story here. So let me just open up the page here. Let's see. This is Bonnie from Dayton. As a woman who was faithful about getting an annual mammogram, shock and denial set in when I discovered a small tumor 6 months later. How fortunate that I do a monthly breath exam, or my prognosis could have been far worse. I recuperated from the surgery and would take walks on the beach and like to listen to, among others, Bon Jovi's It's My Life. Though I was upset, sad, and at times fearful about my prognosis, the song gave me hope and clarity about how I want to live my life when my treatment is over. Kind of says it all, right?
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better any way that you could have written it.
So inspiring. I mean, the song, It's My Life, It's Now or Never. I'm not going to live forever or whatever it says, but it's like sort of capturing that moment and owning that moment and being in control of your life at that given moment. Is that part of the recovery process too?
I think accepting the lack of control is one of the hardest things about going through the treatment. And you do feel at the end of the ordeal that you are now a little bit more back in control. And I think you also have a sense of the sort of things that you do want to control and the ones that you're not going to try to control anymore.
Mm-hmm. And she goes on to also write a couple of lessons that she learned in her life as a result of this, and I'm sure you can relate to all of these here, Dr. McManus. She says she now lives life fully every day, doing what makes her happy. She also doesn't waste time. That's an important one, too. She tells the people that she loves them. She spends time with them. She stands up for her beliefs, her health, and for others in need. And she tries to make an effort to be kind and be thankful. Do you see that from a lot of folks, Dr. McManus, where they feel like they've got a second chance at life now, and right away they want to live every second. They want to give back and be as helpful and be as good a person as they can be?
That is, if not universal, almost a universal comment that is made to me, that people, as scary as it was, they found positivity coming out of that because they were now much more focused on living every day to its fullest.
Do you see a lot of patients helping each other out too? Maybe some folks who are farther along in the recovery just trying to inspire maybe some of the folks that were just recently diagnosed?
Yeah, people have very unusual and wonderful and individual gifts to give others, and sometimes it's crafting things. And there was a woman the other day who had made a quilt for a friend, and unfortunately when she arrived at the hospital, that friend who had been about to pass away did. And this woman actually brought this quilt to my office and said, would you give this to someone?
Wow.
And that is a constant thing. What can I do? Anybody who wants to can call me. I'll help anyone who needs some help. You get that all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's just their way of being grateful for the care that they received from St. Peter's and from you, Dr. McManus, and that right away they want to give. They want to pay it forward, as they say, and help out some other people. So it's a pretty inspiring thing. How about for you? Let me ask you a question. How about an artist or music for you? If you were in that situation, who would get you through? What song or artist would get you through? I'll put you on the spot. Because I know who I would do, but I'll ask you first.
Well, I kind of like indie rock.
Really? Cool.
So I would probably try to listen to Vampire Weekend. Fleet Foxes, bands like that have intricate rock rhythms and harmonies. I love and something upbeat, definitely.
Do the people at St. Peter's know you're this cool? They better.
I don't know if it's cool.
You're checking out Vampire Weekend. I mean, it's cool.
It's just my ear, and my kids. My kids exposed me to wonderful music.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to think if I was put in that situation where if it was something that I had to listen to kind of lift me out of the doldrums and kind of get me kind of psyched up. I don't know. Probably. If I had maybe some old Van Halen records, which as a kid were very exciting and very kind of upbeat and cool stuff, I would probably set up an iPod or whatever and just put some old Van Halen music in there. So,
well, probably the most dramatic display of being finished with treatment and using music was the woman who told me that her husband promised her a red convertible when she got done, and she came for her last treatment visit, and she said, "Dr. McManus, let's go over to the window." And we looked down, and there was the red convertible, and she had the Beach Boys blasting.
How about
on
that? See, it
was
amazing.
Wonderful.
It's amazing. People just get such a new perspective and a new appreciation of life, and sadly, you go through a tough time in your life to kind of garner that appreciation and get it back. But music, obviously, so instrumental, no pun intended, in getting people motivated and keeping them focused and giving them that will to live. Dr. McManus, you've probably seen that too.
I think music moves most of us in many, many ways, be it in our places of worship or our early morning drive to work, and I know that I'm one of those people that remembers things based on when I heard a certain song, and that's why I know what these patients experience.
Terrific. Dr. Susan McManus is our guest. She's the director of the St. Peter's Breast Center, and we're talking about the Music for Motivation program. It's a joint program between St. Peter's healthcare system and us to help motivate women to educate themselves about regular breast checkups and better breast health. The website, by the way, that you'll find at WCTCAM.com has got a bunch of great resources on there, some wonderful information, and also the stories of some survivors sharing their stories about songs that got them through. If you've got a song you want to share, maybe you've been in a tough situation like that and you want to give us a call and share the song that got you through with Dr. McManus, who is here, give us a call, 732-545-9282 or 1-888-545-9282. Maybe you were taking care of someone who was in that situation. You're a friend, you're a family member, and you want to call on that person's behalf. By all means, we'd love to hear the story of how that music or that artist kind of got you through and got that person through. 732-545-9282. or 1-888-545-9282. We'll come back with more with Dr. Susan McManus here on New Jersey Today. Right now it's 1:21, and here's your Central Jersey weather. 1:24, we're back on New Jersey Today on the New Talk Radio 1450 WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. 732-545-WCTC. 1-888-545-WCTC, and listen live on our website as well at WCTCAM.com. Your chance to win the Game Party Champions game for the Wii system. It's going to be one of those hot games when we get to the holiday buying season. I've got your chance to score a copy of the game coming up a little bit later on in the show today, and I'll also include a pair of Rutgers women's basketball tickets for the game coming up this Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock tip-off at the Rack as they take on Davidson. It's going to be a great game and kind of a nice way to kind of wind out the long Thanksgiving holiday weekend as well. So we'll give you a chance to win the Wii game and the Rutgers basketball tickets coming up a little bit later on in the show. Joined for just a couple of more minutes by Dr. Susan McManus, the director of the St. Peter's Breast Center. She's talking about the Music for Motivation program, which WCTC very proudly has partnered with St. Peter's University Hospital on this very powerful and very inspirational program, where we were requesting folks to share their stories of how music kind of got them through what could be, for a lot of folks, the toughest battle of their lives and one of the most challenging things that they'll ever endure. And some of the stories are very, very inspirational And you can check them out on our website at WCTCAM.com. It's still plenty of time to submit your own story and share it with other folks on the website there at WCTCAM.com. Dr. McManus, we were talking during the break there and prior to the break as well, just specifically about breast cancer in New Jersey. What are you seeing? Obviously, you've been doing this for some time. Are we winning the battle? Is it getting worse? Is it a stalemate by your estimation?
I think, fortunately, breast cancer is a very successfully treated disease. We have new drugs. We have ever increasingly better imaging to detect breast cancer. We don't yet have a way to prevent breast cancer altogether unless draconian measures are taken, like prophylactic mastectomy. But it is a disease that can sometimes become chronic because it's pops up its ugly head even after treatment has been done, and yet there are encouraging, long supportive measures that can be taken even with recurrent disease. Mm-hmm. So yes, I would have to say that we are more winning than losing the battle.
Okay. What are some of the top factors? What are some of the key factors? Is it diet? Is it, I would think the smoking or non-smoking thing plays a big role, but what are the factors?
Well, we have always designated October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and that was originally adopted in order to make women aware of the need to go for mammograms. So that was why Breast Cancer Awareness Month came about, is that we should go for mammograms if we're 40 and over. And so that's been a very, very important part of how breast cancer is detected. Yes, I think obesity is increasingly recognized as a risk factor, and women should know how to estimate their BMI and stay within the recommended BMI for their height and weight. And I think that genetics also comes into play. Mm-hmm. There are genetic tests that can be obtained now to identify you as a gene mutation carrier.
Are enough women getting mammograms regularly on a regular enough schedule for your liking, Dr. McManus?
I think that women basically are on board with getting mammograms. I think that there are still some women who quote, find their own breast cancer. And I think that is the second best way to identify it. Certainly we can find breast cancer earlier if it's found on a mammogram than if a patient herself finds it.
But the self-exams and are all still pretty important?
The breast self-exams are helpful, and I'm not going to say they're as useful as mammography.
Okay.
But they're certainly, one shouldn't ignore one's body.
Well put, yeah. That's an important thing. If your body is telling you something's wrong, and it's probably something wrong, right? It still hold true?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes people are worriers, and we can say, no, I know you worry, and that's good that you worry, but this time there's no problem.
Excellent. 1:30 on New Jersey Today on the New Talk Radio, WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. And let me share with you another story that was posted on our website at WCTCAM.com. As part of the St. Peter's Breast Center and WCTC's Music for Motivation program, a nice story that was posted by Marianne, who is a resident of Edison. And she said the music that got her through, Dr. McManus, was the oldies music of the 50s and 60s. Marianne, that's probably some of the music that she kind of grew up with and kind of got her through this tough period in her life. Bobby Rydell, early Beatles, Simon and Garfunkel, rock and roll, and some doo-wop and pop. But that's the music that she said kind of got her through. And it's amazing, like everything else. It's such an individual, personalized thing. This is what did it for her.
Well, those artists certainly still hold up, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. No question. But her story, you can read it in its entirety there on our website at WCTCAM.com. A two-time breast cancer survivor, and listen to the music there to kind of get her through. Even turned her kids on to the music, too, as she was listening to. So very cool. Cool stuff.
That's wonderful. I mean, I think that women who have had breast cancer, one of the first concerns that they have is how their children are going to fare through this journey.
Oh, sure.
And I think that that's one of the ways that parents can get their kids through it is to have some upbeat or some great music to listen to as they're kind of tooling around in the car. Geez, I love this song. Do you like this song?
Yeah, I've heard from so many people, too, Dr. McManus, who are, when it was a woman or whomever was diagnosed with this, right away it became a team effort. It was like it not only affected the person, but it was the family, the friends, the coworkers, the support staff. And everybody is in it together. The recovery is really a group effort.
That's true.
And everybody kind of toughs it out, and everybody kind of is determined to beat this thing. And having a good network of support is key, right? Yes.
And a good top 40 station is
there
good.
You go. That helps, too. 132 on New Jersey Today on the New Talk Radio WCTC. Well, Dr. McManus, it was great to meet you. Great to have you here. Again, go to our website, WCTCAM.com, if you want to share your story, or you can check out the other stories that were submitted. Real powerful thing. There's really something to it, how music can get you through a very tough time in your life. And you could read the stories on our website at WCTCAM.com. How does someone contact you, Dr. McManus, or St. Peter's about a mammogram or just for some more details on the program?
Well, they can go to the St. Peter's website, and we have a site right there.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you again for coming in. Best to you and yours this Thanksgiving, okay?
And thank you, Bert, and
Have a good
same
holiday.
to you.